is Cuba, the country isolated from the rest of the world. I'm currently in Havana City and I'll tell you all about it. It's like they're stuck in the 90s. You can just wave. Nice to meet you.
Let me get you.
5 people on one flight.
One flight.
5 of us. It feels special. Good morning. I'm currently in the city of Havana. You can see how beautiful it is. So I'm going for my first excursion this morning. I'm currently at the Airbnb. This is my room and this is the balcony. Looks so beautiful. I can't wait to explore the city. The people here, the Airbnb hosts are so amazing. They gave me breakfast and the food tasted 10 over 10. So I'm heading out for my excursion now just to see the city. Look how beautiful I look. Before you come for me for saying the city looks beautiful, remember the definition of beauty is relative. And to be honest, Havana low-key reminds me of Surulere, Lagos, Nigeria, back home where I'm from. I don't know if it's just me seeing it or if you are also seeing it. So this is the room in the Airbnb that I'm staying. It is a Casa Particular located in central Havana. It's a family home and it has 2 beds. And they have a lot of nice decorations here. It has air conditioner, all of these decorations. And it's a pretty big room. It has a closet here. 2 bedside drawers. And the balcony. They have Wi-Fi. They have drinks and water for sale. There is a bathroom, a private bathroom. All of this place is for me, and it has a private bathroom as well that has all of these things. They're pretty high tech here. So if you see the WC, when you wave, it flushes. And it has like an automated soap. You see? The water here runs. This Casa Particular is nice. I've been to a lot of Airbnbs and I can tell you for a fact, this host definitely went above and beyond to make sure the stay of every guest is as comfortable as possible. I don't even have all of these sensor lights or high tech at home, but it's here and it's in Cuba, like. So now I'm gonna go out. It's like a 5-minute walking distance from where I'm currently staying. I'm staying in a family home, a Casa Particular. Casa Particular, that's how they call it. So yeah, I'm heading out now. I'll bring you all along. One thing you can rarely miss about Havana is its colorful streets. The vibrant painting on the buildings brings life to the city. Despite the fact that these buildings are over 100 years old, the structure still looks beautiful and are well maintained. And they're also made of seashells, not cement. That was actually very interesting to know.
Que estás perdiendo el tiempo pensando, pensando, pero el mundo es adverso. Encuentro que tú no te fijas en mí. Podrán querer
Music and dance is a very significant part of the culture in Cuba. Did you know that salsa dance actually originated from Cuba? I didn't know either. Well, now you know. This is a very old elevator from like the 19th century. Can you imagine? This is an elevator. And it's still working till now. Old Havana was declared a World Heritage Site in 1982. Taking a walk through the streets just feels like traveling back in time. I know people say Cuba is that country or Havana is that city that is stuck in the 90s, and I can see why. They take detailed art to the next level here in Cuba. You can easily notice from the graffiti on the street, their artworks, even with the decorations in their home. Unlike the boring beige designs we see these days with minimalism, that is not a thing for Cubans.
People is this one was a society divided in class, the upper classes, and in color. At that time, the different colors were segregated. The only one people outstanding was this one. And this one was the most important musicians, the violins. Was the 60% of the Cuban society is a mix between black people and white people.
So are they called like Afro-Cubans?
Afro-Cubans. When I was in Africa, 50% of the black people and 50% of white people.
So the black people are Afro-Latinas?
Afro-Latin American.
Oh, and the white people are like...
And the white people from Spain. Only from Spain. Nigerian, not from English.
So are there any Nigerians here?
In Argentina sitting many people due to the close to this part of the continent. Australia and Argentina are very close.
Go to Havana if you didn't check out the Cigar Factory. Of course you should. Cuba boasts of producing the finest cigars in the world. I didn't get to try it, but I think it's true because they are well known for cigars, rums, mojito, and all of these drinks. I was at the Cigar and Rum Factory, but unfortunately no cameras were allowed, no videos or photos were allowed either. It's a government-owned operation too. That is expected. This is the Cathedral of Havana, named after Havana's patron, Saint Christopher, or if you're gonna say it in Spanish, San Cristobal. This cathedral holds a lot of history to it from the 18th century and is located near the waterfront in Havana. It looks very beautiful and I can tell that it has a lot of history. of Latin dance actually traces back its roots to Cuba, and over time they've been refined and reformed, westernized. Even the Latin American dance came from Cuba. Can you imagine? Now different countries use Latin dances as a form of entertainment, music, movie, and it's just beautiful to see how it has changed over time.
Many Cuban people that don't have the money to buy the house, to buy something, and they are sharing here in this place.
So like how many families?
Many families, 11 families, 12 families.
It is very sad to see the economic situation in Cuba. The average household income is $50 a month. $50. That is ridiculous. And this is the income that is made by professionals like doctors, nurses, teachers, and that is what they make in a month to sustain their household. After a very long day of walking around the city and learning about Cuba, we made a stop for lunch while enjoying the lovely music by these gentlemen. So here, the bathroom is pretty decent, it's clean, but it got no water. See, this is how much water comes out, no soap. And she gave me this toilet paper, like literally this one. There is no toilet paper anywhere. See? But it looks pretty clean and decent, just that they don't have soap. This is the only soap. Then this is how the water comes out. And you just gotta wipe with this, all of this. Crazy. The music sounded so beautiful to the ears. I don't even understand what they are singing, but it sounded like so nice, soothing. We are currently in old Havana, where all of these buildings are made with seashells. They painted them and remodeled them, but they are still from the 19th, like early 19th, like 1901 and 1800. And these buildings are beautiful. Can you imagine? And the balconies are made of steel. Some of them by the Spanish government. People that have like American citizenship and Cuban citizenship, do they pay taxes to the Cuban government or they just make money?
Yeah, the taxes are very important for the Cuban people, for the Cuban government. The government right now gets all taxes muy altas. Esas paladares le generan al Estado casi un 40%, 40% of taxes generated by the government right now.
And that brings money to the country.
They brings the money, but the government the taxes are very high taxes.
So if they are making like a lot of money for the government and the government takes 40%, then how is it private?
It's a private. The government try right now to make like a balance between the capitalist way and the socialist, generate jobs. By the socialist project, there has been an increase in the number of the projects. This project is half capitalist, the other half like a China 2-in-1.
That is interesting. At some point, the Cuban government would embrace like the kind of system that China has, or is it because of the embargo? That's why they can't.
It's due to the embargo. The embargo is in the bank, in my opinion. It's in the bank due to the credit or something like this. But China right now is like a godfather. It's like a godfather. It's like the politicians. There is like it's not the same economy. Our economy and the economy of China is so different. Cuba is on 10 million people inhabitants, and China is a big monster of population. For the reason it's so different, but it's a capitalist way. Is like a private property or something like this. En este momento yo te digo que nosotros estamos tipo China, pero
I just had dinner and I'm on my way back home. The food tasted good. It's just a 7-minute walking distance from where I stay. So I'm heading back home now.
Con mucho cariño de mi corazón a la República Dominicana, la casa del merengue, la casa de la bachata. La 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 la, la casa del merengue. La 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 la, y la casa de la bachata.
Just Smarty are the little star, the platform.
This is the kind of cars that the real Cubans use, and these cars are from the 1970s, even earlier than that. Can you imagine? These are the classic cars. Wow, looks so beautiful. In every corner of the street in Havana, you would find some of the oldest yet well-maintained classic cars in history. Unlike what most people think, the people here are not driving these 50s cars by choice, but due to trade restrictions, they have limited access to modern cars. If you watch my Cuba vlog, you would have seen that I set 5 challenges for this trip, and one of them was to do a classic car photo shoot. My shoot was done by a very kind photographer, Manuel. I booked his service on Airbnb experience for 81 Canadian dollars. The shoot was for 2 hours. Apart from the shoot, Manuel was also kind enough to educate me about Cuba and tell me a lot of stories about the city. Two of my biggest takeaway from conversation with Manuel: did you know that Cuba was actually colonized by British from 1782 to 1784? It was less than 1.5 years, but that happened. I didn't know that. And Cubans are still very much connected to their Afro culture, their African culture. In fact, they have Yoruba religion here. Can you believe? Even me from back home, we no longer worship all of these gods. So they still worship things like Obatala, Olodumare, Oshun, and all of those things. And they originated from Nigeria. They transported or traveled all the way down to Cuba. This tradition or this culture migrated several years ago, and it's no longer practiced even where I'm from, but it's still being practiced here in Cuba. That was really interesting for me to know. If you have been watching this video up to this point, thanks for watching. I hope you have been enjoying it so far. I wanted to share with you how I was able to book a trip from Cayo Coco in Cuba to Havana, the country capital. I'm sharing this information because I couldn't find any online and I had to do my own research. So in case you're actually looking for the same information that I thought it's very important to share. So the first thing is the flight. I booked the flight from Cayo Coco to Havana on booktocuba.com. It cost $60 and for both ways was 120 USD. This flight included round transportation from the airport to your hotel and from your hotel back to the airport. So it was about 4 round transportation for both ways. Next is Airbnb. My initial intention was to actually go to Havana for just one day and come back late in the night, not actually sleep there. But unfortunately, they don't have flights every day. As a matter of fact, they only have flights every other day. So I had to spend 2 nights in Havana. And the Airbnb cost 67 Canadian dollars for 2 nights. As a matter of fact, the hosts were very, very nice people. Next is the city tour. I also booked this on booktocuba.com. It was 40 USD, which included round transportation and lunch. The tour was also in English. Let me share some of the other resources that I used in Havana that have helped make my experience there very enjoyable and pleasurable. One, it was maps.me. Obviously, I don't know the direction around the city, so I downloaded maps.me even before coming to Cuba. Then when I got here, I downloaded the offline portion of Cuba map, so it was easy for me to walk around without using internet. Next is Google Translate. I had downloaded Google Translate app. As a matter of fact, I've used it before, so I just downloaded the language Spanish and I could communicate back and forth to people using the app. Make sure you also download it before coming. Lastly, VPN. As a matter of fact, a lot of websites do not work in Cuba, so in order for you to access this website, you need to use a VPN. I downloaded Fishphone VPN. It's totally free, and make sure to download all of these apps before coming to Cuba. Overall, I had a lot of fun. I never had any issues, and people are very nice and welcoming. It's so easy to ask questions, especially with the Google Translate app. If you have any questions, they can always answer you, and the people here are very nice. Though, be very careful if you want to take pictures or you want to touch people's things. Make sure you ask them how much will it cost you before you start doing it. Otherwise, if you had planned that you are going to tip them maybe $1 or you are planning to not even tip at all, they might end up eating with a charge of telling you it's $10, or you ask somebody for direction and they will tell you $10. So be very, very careful with that. But I didn't experience any of that. All the people that I met were really, really nice, but I had some people say they had these experiences. Overall, I had a lot of fun, and if you go to Cuba or you go to Havana, I hope you do too, and I hope you find this video useful. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.